But for the fact that he was a coward, Jagan would have asked his parents, "Haven't you enough grandchildren? Why do you want more? Why don't you leave me alone?" In other words, if Jagan wasn't a coward, if Jagan was daring just to ask these questions, these are the most crucial questions that would kind of, you know, very imposing if they were asked from his parents, like, "Haven't you got enough grandchildren? You got brothers' grandchildren, you got sisters' grandchildren. Why me? Why do you want more? Why don't you leave me alone?" Right. So, what is this fascination you have with me? To me, to have grandchildren? Those were the questions. Uh, Meanwhile, the coconut woman was saying, now, father had a heated argument with the coconut woman. The coconut woman could hear this. How the man from the town was grumbling and just very reluctant to pay this exorbitant prices for the coconuts, and in a very sleek way, in a very smart and shrewd way, this woman says, "Don't grudge a little extra expense. The grandson will bring you a lot of good and fortune when he arrives. Just forget this a little bit of extra expense here. Just buy this coconut, and the grandson will bring you a lot of good fortune when he arrives. When the grandson comes, he'll bring a lot of fortune to you. He'll be such an asset. Uh, right fortune when he arrives," said the coconut woman. At which the old man gentleman softened and asked, "See how his anger was suddenly abated, how it just immediately receded and just, he became normal." That's the that's the flair of a good businesswoman. She know how to handle her customers. She took her time, just spoke the exact words, and Jacob's father surrendered, softened. Hariyatam nilayallu, right? And there's another thing you have to be very careful here. I'll come to that. At which the old gentleman, now Jacob's father asked, once the lady said something like that, coconut woman said something like that, "How are you sure it will be a son or not a daughter? How are you so confident that it's going to be a son and not a daughter?" And the woman replies, "No one who prays at the temple is ever disappointed with a daughter. No one comes here normally gets a daughter. They always get sons. It's kind of special place," says the lady. So you have to understand, in this post-colonial situation, in a family, the sons are privileges, or a son's birth is privileged over a daughter's birth. I mean, they like sons, right? There are certain countries even today in contemporary global situation. For example, China. You take China. China is a country. The government controls the uh, birth rates. I mean, like, the government controls how many children a family should have. Probably it's a one child, because it's a measure of controlling the population situation. As a matter of fact, China is one of the countries have the largest population in this entire globe. So just to control it as a means of controlling measures, Chinese families are allowed just to have one child. It's a government policy. And what happened was, most of the people are preferring a male child, a male offspring, compared to a girl, a daughter. And this is seen in some parts of the world, right? Even today, which is a very gender biased approach. There should be equality. That's the way of the nature, right? If the nature intended it to be that way, let it be. Why should why should human attitudes try to make judgments and prefer one gender over another? Is a thing you have to think about, right? But anyway, we'll keep those issues in the background. As if in fulfillment of the coconut seller's prophecy. After some time, as if in fulfillment, as if like to satisfy the coconut seller's prophecy, the future prediction that woman made, that is going to be a boy, it's going to be a son, grandson. It came true. That prophecy came true. Mali was born. So was Mali born. The very minute he was delivered, the very minute he was born in the village home of his mother. Now, Mali was not even born in Jagan's parental house. He was born in Ambiga's house in Kupam village. Right? So Ambika has to travel to Kupam village when she was conceived, and the delivery was done there. At the moment, the same moment Mali was born, he was put in a scale just to measure his weight on a scale pan. Even before the midwife could clean him up properly, he was not even clean. The moment he came out from the womb, is a natural delivery. He was put on a scale just to wait. Uh, and an equivalent weight in gold, silver, and corn was made up to be delivered to the god of Badril, according to the solemn vow made during their visit. So why was he waited? Why was this newborn child was waited before even he was claimed? Because in weight, equal weight of gold, silver, and corn was an offering to this, was made to offer to this Badri hill. බාරය ඔප්පු කරන්න ඕන දැන්. ඒ බරට සමාන දරුවගේ බරට සමාන බරකින් රත්තරන් රිදි and corn they are offering to Badri. So with God, you have to be precise. You can't cheat God, right? You have to have the promise, the solemn promise. See, it's not a loud promise, it's a solemn promise. It's a silent pledge they have made. If silent pledge means they have prayed, right? If you bless us with a child, boy child, we'll give you this much amount of things, equivalent of the weight of the child. In old days, when the kings ruled, you heard the same thing, right? If you can do a favor for the king in certain crisis situations, the king will reward you. ඇත්තෙක් බරට වස්තුව දෙනවා කියන. කියන්නේ ඇතා තරාදියක එක පැත්තක දාලා ඒ අනිත් පැත්තේ ඒ බරට සමාන රත්තරන් හරි රිදී හරි you get as a gift. You get as a donation from the government, right? The ruler of the country. Same way, right? When she came home, now Ambika came home bringing the 3 months old baby. After 3 months old, she has to delay till the boy is 3 months old just to come to this parental house. Ambika's parents had sent with her an enormous load of gifts as prescribed in the social code of the firstborn. Ambika's parents were happy as well. They have sent lots of gifts, enormous amounts of gifts, colossal amounts of gifts. It's a social custom, right? They are happy when the child is born and this is a male child. Lavishly they have given gifts. A huge feast was held to which 100 guests were invited. It's another event to celebrate when they got a child. 100 guests were invited now to this house, and they had to cover the floor of all 3 segments of the house with dining leaves. Now guests arrived. Now they are sitting, and the house is, all 3 segments, all 3 parts of the house, the dining leaves are put on, right? feast, a banquet it seems. Mali still looked puny and hardly able to bear all the gold and jewelry the fond grandparents had heaped on him. Mali is so weak till puny means so small. Mali tama kuchi kuchai, right? And hardly able, and he can't. His body is not strong enough. He wants still just a small kid, right? Small child, baby infant. And these guys are heaping means loading him with what? Every sorts of gifts, right? Gold, jewelry, like from grandparents like Ambiga's father and mother and Jagan's father and mother. Everyone is happy, everyone is in a celebrative mood, and he's getting a lot of gifts from the very birth itself, right? After dinner, chewing betel leaves with great contentment, Jagan's father looked very happy. So after dinner, he was chewing betel leaves, having this, chewing this betel leaves. It's the way of grandparents, right? Uh, Great contentment means with great happiness. Jagan's father looked very happy. He's a happy man now. Uh, the house was filled with the babble of guests and laughter. You can hear anywhere from the house. It's filled with babble, talk, and laughing of the guests. Women in groups simultaneously carried on conversations at several pitches. And women, when they get together, they are just, having their conversation in high pitches, right? Simultaneously carried conversations. All women are talking together with several pitches. Their voices can be heard loudly. And the baby passed from hand to hand, cried, unable to bear the disturbance around him. Right? And the baby passed from hand to hand, cried. It was crying now, unable to bear the disturbance around him. Right? So he is very unaccustomed because a child feel comfortable when it's close to mother's breast, right? That's why they just always cuddle the child. And when everyone is touching the kid, kids don't like it. They instinctively don't like it, right? Just to be, passed by hand from hand to hand. Right? Uh, Unable to bear the disturbance around him. And that's not all. The smell of incense, flowers, sandalwood fill the air. Lot of aroma. A huge thick aroma, a fragrance can be felt around. Sandalwood fill the air. As any auspicious occasion, these are the fragrances they use for these auspicious occasions, very great occasions, right? Auspicious means Subha Mohatwal වලට එයාලා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මේවා sandalwood and incense and flowers and everything. The two grandfathers retired to a corner for a moment. So the two adults, the two bosses of the houses, Jagan's father and Ambiga's father, retired to a corner for a moment means they went for private talk to a corner of the house for a moment, leaving the other guests. Mali, said one, we'll have a deposit of 1,000 rupees marked, to which he will add 100 on each birthday. I'm going to start an account for Mali with 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees is a big amount compared to that time, right? 1960s, you're starting 1,000 rupees means it's for a baby, infant. And every year, what happened? And which will added 100 on each birthday. 100 rupees is added to this each birthday. Right? So it's big amount of money in this context. So Mali is lucky in a way, right? He have very rich parents, grandparents, very lavish, and they are all happy. So Mali was born with a lot of promise and as well as a lot of trouble. It took some time for Mali. It's like a long awaited, long anticipated guest to this family. Maybe that's the attraction Jagan have with Mali as well, right? Up to date. This has been the practice in our family for generations whenever child was born. So this having this opening this account and adding yearly, annually on his birthday was the family practice. Every child was born was given this as a family practice. So is it with us, said the other. The other gentleman said, yeah, we do the same. After all, we must provide for the new one and give him good start in life. Yes, that's our obligation as grandparents. That's our duty as grandparents. Once a new member comes in, we give some money. I mean, like we open account. So when it comes to the appropriate age, he can start his life in a very strong position, in an economically strong position. Right? Even the grandparents will be passed off, they'll be deceased after some time, but the child is not alone. After all, he has a root. He has his roots. He can be strong. He can face life in confidence because he has some savings with him. That's the idea. So how far thinking they are and how concerned they are about a new member of for their families, right? So both of them agree on that. Give him a good start in life. A new son in the house is a true treasure in this life and beyond life. A new son is a treasure. කොල්ලෙක් කියන්නේ වස්තුවක්. So all the boys feeling colors up, right? Yeah. And this is extreme. Anyway, girls are also such a treasure, right? Anyway, so new son in the house is a true treasure in this life and beyond life, says one. It was dreading Jagan would be without issue, said Jagan's father. It was dreading. I was dreading means I was scared. I was dreaded. I was scared. I was kind of feared. Would be without issue. Underline. What does it mean? Without issue means have no children. Because this surprise came after 10 years of their marriage. So Jagan's father was saying, I was kind of scared that Jagan will not have children. Jagan will not have children in this house. I was no doubt at any time barrenness is unknown in our house, says the other. The other response, right? Probably Ambika's father, for sure, right? I am pretty sure that some way, sooner or later, definitely Ambika is going to have a child because our children are very fertile. They can conceive. There's no issue in our family line about these things. Right? So anyway, this now doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter because now they have a child. Anyway, you can't blame any of them, right? A look of triumph glowed on Jagan's face as he went from guest to guest. Jagan felt privileged to. A look of triumph glowed means a look of victory was shining on Jagan's face. Mama වැඩකාරයා තමයි. Just some kind of idea. Was seen, right? He was happy in other ways. Of course, as a father, he's happy. Jagan's face as he went from guest to guest, prostrated at their feet. He has to worship. Prostrating. I have explained to you, right? He have to fall on their feet, prostrated at their feet, and receive blessings. So the elders are blessing Jagan. Ambika followed him, prostrated. Ambika also had to prostrate and just worship their elders. That's a social custom. That's a way of displaying the utmost respect for the elders, right? Prostrating and also blessed by everyone. Ambika was blessed as well. She held herself up proudly, having now attained the proper status in the family. She's holding her head tight. Megha also is proud now. She's happy. Mm. Now she's got the proper status in the family, proper welcome. දැන් තමයි පරිපූර්ණ ලේලියක් දැන් අම්බිකා, right? And blessed by everyone, right? And she's got the proper status in the family. She looked especially gratified that she had enabled them to add, if it could somehow be done, one more figure to the group photographs on the walls of both houses. So Ambika is happy anyway. Even it's a one child, she's very happy that there's another member in the future. If there's gonna be a photograph from any side of the house, right? There's another new member to be added into this photograph. So Ambika is feeling blessed. Jagan is obviously feeling happy, right? He's the man of the match here, right? And so it's all happy. It's a kind of a happy ending to chapter 12. Everyone is happy, and yes, it's a very enjoyable chapter as well, right? It's a flashback. Now don't forget, Jagan get all these flashbacks while he was back there, right, under the lowly statue, right? He was reminiscing the past. So this entire chapter is where the past comes to the present, right? So interesting chapter. That's the end of chapter 12.